Your hypermobile posture is harder. We hear this all the time. It's hard to sit upright. It's hard to stand. I feel like I'm always in an anterior pelvic tilt, or I'm always leaning on one hip, or I'm slouching, or all of these things. And I want to be abundantly clear, none of those are the cause of your pain. Is there a perfect diet for nutrition? Will collagen be helpful for this condition? There is no diet for this condition. But what we have found is meeting your basic needs and having a little bit more high protein, low carb does seem to do better for most people. Some people do need to trial a low histamine diet, but we highly encourage doing that with data and not just taking everything out and expecting yourself to understand what that means. Doing that with a registered dietitian, doing a true elimination diet to figure out what are your individual triggers, because just because something's high histamine on a list doesn't mean it's going to create histamine in your system. Collagen, I take collagen, but it is not because it helps with EDS or anything in that realm. It's because it's one of the only protein powders I can digest, and it does seem to be one of the most easily digested protein powders. Granted, it also is not as nutrient dense as other protein powders, but it is better than nothing when you can't digest any other form. So if you find that whey protein wrecks your stomach, pea protein wrecks your stomach, but collagen doesn't, I still think it's beneficial to add it in. It's better than nothing. And then supplement wise, there is, again, no perfect supplements, but there are some ones that we know are mast cell stabilizers, like quercetin. Nettle leaf tea is one that we talk about a lot. DAO enzymes. Pea is getting a lot of hype recently in the mast cell world. PEA.
And for some people, and we're not going to dive into this, but HRT for some people.
Absolutely.
I just want to throw that out there.
Yes.
It does exist as a
progesterone cream too. I've seen that help a lot of people.
And this is, again, something that we help coach people through, where we're looking for signs and symptoms. We're trialing the lowest hanging fruit first, that sort of thing. And then if we get to a point where I really think you need to work with this, we are helping you find that person. We're connecting you with people to do that. Being really open-minded about it. So just because you're the only person to ever do it doesn't mean, and I'm not going to say actually the only, but just because you feel like you're charting a new path doesn't mean it's the wrong path.
And then on that note, medications too. There's a huge medication stigma right now. If a medication helps you, you are doing a huge disservice to yourself to not let it help you. Life is already really, really hard. Now, granted, everything comes with side effects and you need to know the risk and the reward. But if it's a low risk, low side effect medication and it is drastically increasing your quality of life, do yourself a favor and let yourself take that medication.
And just be open to it. Be open to the idea. And this is where flare tracking really comes into play, because I can speak to my experience. About a year ago, I had some sort of viral infection, not COVID. And I was trying to do it by myself. Honestly, I was like, I still feel really terrible. And I finally told Taylor, by the way, I feel really terrible. I was flaring. Everything every day was off of baseline. I knew that much about it. And I was flare tracking at the time. And Taylor helped me through it. And this is where we really got data about what medication was or wasn't doing for me. Because I will say personally, I was a really poor historian when it came to doctor's appointments. How often did you take this or something? Like, beta blockers are something that's frequently given to people with some form of dysautonomia. And they are sometimes given on a take daily and sometimes given as a take as needed sort of thing. And if you're not tracking the days that you take something as needed and understanding what they do for you, then you might just be like, I don't know if it's helping. And then you might be doing yourself a disservice in the long run. Yeah. But that was mine with my post. I had some sort of post-viral symptoms going on that had flared everything for me. And Taylor coached me through it, which I do for other people, but it's hard to be your own coach.
You cannot be your own coach. You cannot. Coaches need coaches too.
It's hard. You can't be objective about it. And I wasn't objective about it. And I finally got to a point where it's like, I feel so terrible. Please help me. And this is where different solutions came into play. And that was different supplements for a period of time. That made sense in that chapter of my life, but not forever. Yeah. Cardiac rehab, that made sense in that chapter of my life, but not forever. Pacing, that different boundaries that existed with my time, and just different conversations that were happening with people. And I did go to the doctor to rule out big, bad, and scary. We made sure there wasn't pneumonia or something else going on, because I was having some other symptoms that were a little worrisome. I was okay, I'm fine now, but that's a very real version of how that happened a year ago for me. Okay, my elbow hyperextends, so should I never hyperextend my elbow? The hyperextension in and of itself is not dangerous. It's the lack of control over that motion that puts us in this, I don't even want to say slippery slope, but it makes it harder for you to do what you need to do. And if we are relying on that end range stability of just being hyperextended and that's how you feel stable instead of using your muscles to feel stable, both and, then where that is not serving you in the long run, where you only know how to be stable if you're at end range.
Right.
And you don't live your life at end range.
And along that, we get asked a lot about posture. And when you're hypermobile, posture is harder. We hear this all the time. It's hard to sit upright. It's hard to stand. I feel like I'm always in an anterior pelvic tilt, or I'm always leaning on one hip, or I'm slouching, or all of these things. And I want to be abundantly clear, none of those are the cause of your pain. They're not the cause. They might be playing a role in our pain story, but pain is not that simple. It is never as black and white as posture is the cause of our pain and rant.
But there's research on that too.
Yes, there's a lot of research on that. But what we do want is to be able to get in and out of any posture we want and to know when we're in and out of these postures. That's the first thing that we start with is, do you even know when you're hyperextending? Because if we don't know that we're in a hyperextended position, we're probably going to be in it too much. And too much of anything isn't good. And so we don't want to stay in a hyperextended position for an extended period of time. And we need to know how to get in and out of those positions. And sometimes that takes increasing our proprioception, aka where is our body in space. And there's a lot of ways that we can improve that. Sometimes it's we need to just have a habit reminder of some sort or have an external cue because it's more of a body connection piece. Sometimes it's that we need to gain some strength in that area so that the muscles can provide the stability for us that we're relying on our joints to do that for. And so we want to figure out, is it one of those three? Is it a mixture of all three? And which is going to move the needle the quickest, which is going to be the most effective for the person in front of us. There's a lot of misinformation online about anterior pelvic tilt, about tech neck, about posture in general. Set movement, break alarms, move your body every 20 minutes. A great hack is if you work from home or in an office or a desk, have multiple places to sit. I like to alternate 3 different areas, 3 different chairs throughout the day. That gets me moving. Set an alarm, put a sticky note on your computer that says move to remind yourself. Just get more movement in. It really will help.
I'm big on there's no such thing as perfect posture. Your best posture is your next posture. I always tell people if you sat in quote unquote perfect posture all day long,
you would be in pain.
Your body would hurt because you hadn't moved.
Yep.
If you've ever been on a road trip, sat in an airplane, and you're in a more upright, ideal-ish, ergonomic position, and you feel stiff and achy and all kinds of things afterwards. So even if you did the ideal thing, your body would still be in a lot of pain afterwards. And so you were built to move. Your body likes movement. Give it what it likes, and that will always feel better. I don't know if you've ever seen us in any content be in ideal posture.
You certainly haven't seen me.
And slouching isn't bad, and hyperextending isn't bad, and sideways isn't bad, and being on your side.
It's all good.
I think this goes for sleeping postures too.
Yes.
People really...
There is no perfect way to sleep. You can sleep on your side, you can sleep on your back, you can sleep on your stomach, and this is coming from a chiropractor. There's also no perfect pillow. There's no perfect bed. What other myths do we have? Adjustments don't heal your immune system.
I'm going to say about sleep.
Or move your bones. Sorry.
I'm going to say about sleep specifically. You can go to sleep with the best of intentions of, I'm going to lay on my back, or I'm going to lay like this, and still wake up like a pretzel. And guilting yourself or being mad at yourself over that is not going to help. Getting poor quality sleep where you make sure you stay in a certain position will be far more harmful than getting deep, restful sleep. So sleep on your stomach, sleep with your leg up, sit with a wallet in your pocket. I don't care. Do all the things. This is why you're...
No. If it seems too good to be true, it is.
If it seems
100%
if it seems so simple and this was my problem, ask a question. Dive a little deeper. Maybe it's that simple. Maybe it's not. I'd say we get a lot too of attention. Mm-hmm. Why am I so tight? Why do I feel so tense? I would say a lot of people in our world come to us and I see a massage therapist or I see something, and this is my plea to anybody who does any sort of manual work on people. Please stop telling people that they're the most tight thing that you've ever heard in your life or seen in your life. Our words matter. And I say this to anyone, please don't tell anybody that they're the worst or the most anything that you've ever seen. that stuff gets ingrained and can be very harmful for people.
Or comparing their imaging to an 80-year-old or anybody that's drastically older. It doesn't do anything to help anybody.
Just meet the person where they're at in front of you. If someone comes to you, and I would say tight upper traps tend to be such a common thing, because coat hanger pain is something that this population absolutely experiences, and it's annoying. The coat hanger pain exists. It's real. We believe you. It's annoying. And not having tight traps isn't going to get rid of that.
Coat hanger pain has nothing to do with tight traps. Right, it has everything to do with blood flow and blood volume. So if you are experiencing coat hanger pain, which is pain in this area, try laying down with your legs above your heart for 10 minutes. Let me know how it goes. Just try it.
Yes. Like, people tend to associate tightness with pain. Yes. I am a proponent of tension is a neutral thing that exists. Tightness is neither good nor bad. If we have tightness in an area, it likely serves a purpose, even if that purpose is no longer what we're looking for in the future. Your body made a choice that was the smartest move for you. Our bodies are highly adaptable and are smarter than we give them credit for. They're going to pick the most efficient and fast way to do the thing that they believe serves you the best. And so when it comes to tightness, it's not that we just need to get rid of it, because if you had no tension in your body, you'd be walking around like a wet spaghetti noodle, and that's not how you live in the world either. And so we need to find that balance of, can we have good muscle tension that helps support those things, or asking ourselves in a different way, what is this tension providing for my body?
Because sometimes it's there for a reason. It's protecting you. I know in my case, when my neck was at its worst, my neck was really trying to help me out and created that tension for me to protect me. And the second it was gone from that adjustment was when big, bad, and scary happened, because I had nothing providing stability for me anymore. Yeah. And we see this a lot of the time of, why do I feel worse after I get a massage? Or why do I feel worse after insert manual therapy, or even Botox? Yeah, especially Botox, especially if you have upper cervical instability. Your muscles need to create that tension because your ligaments aren't capable, and you can't change your ligaments. You cannot change your connective tissue unless you have a scalpel, and we don't recommend that unless there's real reasons to do that. So we need that muscle tension sometimes.
Yeah. And it's usually serving a purpose around a hypermobile joint. If a joint goes through more mobility, which is different than hyperflexibility of a muscle, if a joint goes through more mobility, shoulders are a great example here. They're not an inherently super stable joint by the way that they are built. Like, you are inherently designed to have a lot of motion in your shoulder. And because of that, there are 13, 15, some odd number of muscles attached to your shoulder blade alone to create stability there. They are supposed to be strong. They are supposed to have tension. They are supposed to do that. And tension doesn't mean that you don't have flexibility. Yes. And this is where people get really confused, because we see so often stretch and it doesn't feel like it's doing anything. And if it's tight, oftentimes that muscle can be weak too. So if it doesn't have tension from strength that you have actively built, that muscle will tense up and hold on for dear life and say, here we go. And that's where it's not necessarily bad tension, because it's serving a purpose, but it's tension we can change into strength.
The body. All right, last one. We get this all the time. I hear so many noises in my neck. It pops, it cracks, or so many in my knees. It's Rice Krispie treats, snap, crackle, pop. So what noises are? When you have a joint, there's fluid in that joint. And when there's movement in that joint, bubbles form and create noises. When you're hypermobile, guess what? You got more movement in your joints. And so you are going to be noisier. It is not dangerous if it is not causing pain. So if you have a noise in your body and it is painless, not causing any issues, try your best to ignore it. It's not causing any harm. I know it's annoying, but it is probably out of your control. And so do your best to ignore it. If it is painful, that's a completely different story. If you have a painful noise in your body, you should go get help.
I'd say that's the biggest thing. When we run into clients with this, we have that conversation of, let's talk about what they even are. Air pressure changes, bubbles, fluid moving, all those things. Because you hear these different conditions of, I have snapping hip and I have tendon snapping this, or just like scary words that feel really intense and dangerous. And why wouldn't they, right? Why wouldn't they? So when we do this, we ask for, is it painful? Yeah. And if it's non-painful, it's non-problematic is my phrasing of it. But I'll ask too, is it annoying? Is it concerning? What are the feelings that we're assigning to these pops, these clicks, these snaps, these whatever? Are we seeing a change? And then is there any sort of red flag that's happening with it? Knowing the difference between a pop, a subluxation, and a dislocation is a big thing too. That gives us more autonomy over our body. Like that's the really empowering part of it. And I'm sure some of us heard, don't pop your knuckles, it'll give you arthritis.
But then go to a chiropractor because they can pop it in the right area. Newsflash, that's not a real thing.
And when it comes to things popping, clicking, that sort of thing, the freest segment is what's going to move.
100% of the time.
Which if you don't understand what that means, oftentimes people approach it of, I'm going to move this thing that's tight. If the thing around it is more, the more mobile thing's going to move.
And that's why hypermobile people don't really need adjustments.
You can say it louder.
Fair. Hopefully the mic got it.
But that saying that if someone's sitting there telling you, I am moving this thing with so much certainty, they're like, I'm moving T2 on this. I'm going to tell you right now that even...
we have loads of data. I am a chiropractor. We have loads of data that we do not have specificity in where we adjust. Meaning, if we think we're adjusting T2, we are not. We are, like, it's very black and white. We are not.
I would say even from a PT perspective, this was taught to me in school, actually. This was a positive thing that came from school. Surface anatomy wise, our palpation skills are not as accurate as we claim to be. So there's a great study. It's palpating the bicep tendon, which exists in this portion of your body. They did PTs, surgeons, and I think radiologists or something of these specialties, people who are aware of it. The accuracy, maybe 20%.
And the interreliability between practitioner to practitioner. So if you took one chiropractor and asked them to find one thing versus the other is really bad. One will say that area is the one that's subluxed or restricted, and the other will say it's on the completely opposite side. We don't have control over, we can't feel things as well as we think we can.
And this is because humans are inherently different. Normal anatomy doesn't exist.
Correct.
There's a typical plan that happens, but normal anatomy doesn't exist. And I'll go even on the PT side. Your hips are out of place. Is a really common nocivic and harmful thing to tell people, because you will go to 10 different PTs and 10 different PTs will give you an answer. This one's forward, that one's backward, this one's in, that one's out, that sacrum does move, it's too mobile, it's not mobile. Like that sort of ambiguity does not serve you, and it's not a solution. So that's an answer without solutions, and a wrong answer, if I'm being really honest. And that research has been proven over and over to be incorrect. It has been taken off board certifications because we cannot support it with evidence.
And same with your glutes are asleep and your core is not strong enough, and that's the reason that your back hurts. It's just not how humans work.
Nocivic language that makes people feel broken is probably the bane of our existence. And that's not to say that we're not a fan of placebo. We're actually huge fans of placebo because if you feel better, you feel better. And that's our goal.
And use it.
Always.
If it's safe and it's not costing you $1 bajillion, do it.
It's not harming your mindset. It's not making you feel smaller.
It's not making you dependent on anybody or anything. Do it.
But if you are having someone who makes you feel broken, makes you feel like you need to go to them forever and that you don't have any capacity to grow or be better,
or to help yourself.
It's always or you're made to feel like you're doing it wrong. That you can't keep your adjustment is a big thing that you hate. What does that even mean? No. Or like, oh, you stepped off. PTs do this sometimes, less of them, but some still. You stepped off a curb and that's how you got your hips out of place.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
It's the most insane.
I have heard that lunges.
Asymmetrical movements. You stepped off a curb too hard and then you jolted it out of place.
We're not that fragile. We both dissected cadavers. It is really hard to move those things. We had to take a saw. This is kind of gross, but literal saw. It's really hard to move bones. It's really hard.
Talk to an orthopedic surgeon.
Yes.
A joint.
Have you watched those surgery videos?
Joint replacement. That is hardcore construction.
And it's still true, even if you have a connective tissue disorder. I know things move more, and I could sublux my should right now if I wanted.
Same, but
it is moving. There are things move easier in a body with a connective tissue disorder, but
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault, and it's not the cause of your pain.
And it's not something that someone can fix for you with their magical, their supplement or their 18-month treatment plan with x-rays and blah, blah. We just see.
Should I do confession time from my old job? I've never done this before.
Would you get in trouble for it?
Potentially.
Up to you if you post it or not.
I'll just say it. But so I worked at a traditional chiropractic mill at one point in my life. And if you've ever heard of chiropractic biophysics, or if you've ever been to a chiropractor where they put your x-ray up and they have lines on it and they tell you, we're going to watch for these lines to move to see your progress. And the reason for all of your pain is because your curve is so straight, or this thing is out of alignment, and they show you with the lines on the x-rays how that works. They have an assistant or somebody. It's not always assistant. I'm just going to speak for my specific experience. You put little dots on the x-rays and it makes the lines, and then you retake the x-rays, which is also super unethical, but that's not part of the story. Then you retake the x-rays in 6 months and you re-put the dots on the lines. And if the lines don't change positively and you followed the treatment plan accordingly, they would make us move the line so that it did look like you were making progress. And the opposite was true too. If you didn't follow their treatment plan, they made you move them backwards.
That's so unethical. Yeah. And I want to say to anybody, if you have been in some sort of situation like this where you went and bought a treatment plan, or someone was like, your hips are out of place, or you need this sort of adjustment, you need this sort of treatment. If you have, I don't even want to say fallen for that. If someone has preyed on your insecurities and your fear around this condition, that's not your fault. The people who do that are loud.
And they're really good at creating urgency and fear. And they're really good at selling. They're really good at selling.
You should be looking for people who are wanting
hope, understanding, and strength.
You should be looking for those people. If you are doing something out of absolute fear, and this is different of like if there's a medical necessity of a surgery or something that is
totally
scary.
Different.
That's a different thing. But if you're falling into these, should I buy that thing? Should I? And this is even gadgets and things.
And I can even make it even more black and white. If it is a passive modality, you don't need it. It might help you. There's value in passive modalities. I'm a big fan of passive modalities. Totally. And there's a time and a place for them, but you never need them. They're never going to change. If you don't have them, you're not going to be less healthy. Your life might be a little bit harder. There might be things that don't feel as good. But if a chiropractor or anybody is saying, if you don't do this treatment plan, you will be not healthy anymore, or you will have insert problem, that's just not true. It doesn't work like that. There's nothing that somebody can passively do to you to have that big of an impact on your life and your health.
And if they speak in such stark ways of this will do
yes, with certainty, there's nothing in health that's certain and humans that's certain.
If they do it, and especially in a fear-mongering way, not in an empowered way. And like, what's magical about working with them for 6 months? Why does it take that? Why does it take 3 times a week? Like,
and
what
ask these questions.
Please do. And if you don't know, get a second opinion. And if they're like, well, you can't wait 2 weeks or you'll be behind. There's your right there.
Red flag.
If they get uncomfortable with you pushing back, there's your flag. If anyone questions you, if you're questioning the treatment plan and they get very in their ego, they're not about you. They actually don't care about you. They might say that they do, but I would make an argument that if you're getting uncomfortable because someone is questioning your treatment plan, you're not in it for the right reason.
Yeah. A good clinician or a good coach will be so happy you're asking these questions because it's a collaborative experience. Care should be collaborative.